the first part of Wednesday season 2 has now released on Netflix. 3 years in between seasons of 8 to 10 episodes is crazy work, by the way, but that's just the landscape we're in now. So they're waiting until the second part comes out, and fans are very unhappy that they didn't get their precious ship made into a reality. The showrunners have had to answer for this. Why isn't Wednesday in a romantic relationship with her female roommate, Enid? And they've come up with a ship name for it and everything. It's called Wenclair because it's Wednesday Addams and Enid Sinclair, and they just really wanted these two to kiss, which I think is really strange because we're talking about two, people playing children on a TV show. Like, just kind of creepy that you're like obsessed with that in the first place, but also they're obsessed with the idea of queer representation. The Gay Times covered the controversy, saying the co-showrunners of Wednesday have shared their thoughts on the possibility of a Wenclair romance, and they basically said there is no possibility of it. This is from Alfred Goh and Miles Miller. It's a show about female friendship, and people can read into it whatever they want, which is great. That's the beauty of television, is people can take ownership, but they're very much friends. It's really a show exploring that female friendship, which isn't allowed anymore. Same-sex friendships are just not allowed to exist on any show, regardless of whether it's two women or two men.
Yeah,
it's going to be taken and hijacked by people online and made into gross, like, deviant art fan ships. And there's nothing you can do to prevent that. And they're letting them have their fun, but they're like, we don't have to change our show to appease you. And now this hashtag is trending, hashtag Wenclair stays, and they're accusing the showrunners of queer baiting the audience, which never happened. The queer baiting is so bad, even the big accounts are calling it out now. And then another person said, it's not queer baiting, you guys just ignored canon and deluded yourselves into thinking Tim Burton, of all people, was going to make a lesbian show. They kind of admitted what's really going on here. They said the quiet part out loud at the end of that tweet. They just think that any show with a same-sex relationship in it is therefore a lesbian show or a gay show. And that's why those shows consistently get canceled.
Yeah, because it creates such a small market for it that, there used to be a time where gay characters would end up in regular shows and it was just considered part of an ensemble cast. Whereas then now you kind of box it into this very, very small niche audience. And obviously that wasn't even true for this show.
No.
But they're like trying to will it into existence.
Yeah, for context, in the first season in 2022, Wednesday gets paired with this annoying roommate who she hates at first, and they're totally aesthetic opposites. Her roommate Enid is like obsessed with everything pink and everything rainbow and sparkles and glitter, and she's super upbeat and bubbly, whereas Wednesday obviously is the more acerbic. She wears black all the time, and she really finds Enid annoying at first, but then over time her acerbic exterior gets softened toward her roommate, and they become good friends by the end of the season. And they're still friends in the second season, but people are not willing to accept that because they wanted it to end in a lesbian romance, again, between child characters, schoolgirls. It's just super creepy no matter how you put it. And I wasn't aware of any accusations of homophobia against Tim Burton. People have criticized Tim Burton for supposedly not representing racial diversity in his films or TV shows. He uses predominantly white casts, and his general filmography. Critics have taken issue with his explanation that things either call for things or they don't when asked about diversity, interpreting it as a dismissive attitude toward the intentional inclusion of POCs and marginalized groups.
That is the real answer. For like anybody in that position, that is actually the right answer. It's like watching a movie and you see a bunch of Delta Force operators. If there's a woman in there, you're like, this never called for that. She doesn't need to be there. It doesn't benefit the story in any way.
Right.
But some things call for it and some things don't.
I honestly didn't even care for the heterosexual love interests that they gave Wednesday in the first season. He's gone
though now, right? Like that.
There were two. So one of them was Percy Hines White, who got canceled in the meantime between season 1 and 2, so he's no longer involved in the show. Although I do think he's on friendly terms with Jenna Ortega because she doesn't really care. And the allegations against him were never verified or resulted in any legal action.
She's got blonde eyebrows. She doesn't give a crap about anything.
Yeah. But he's not on the show anymore. It's just the love interests that they gave Wednesday in the first season were way too YA coded, if you know what I mean. Like, it didn't fall in line with who people know Wednesday Addams to be, that she's seemingly way more boy crazy than you would think Wednesday should be. Like, she pretends not to be at first, but then she's like crushing so hard on these guys, and it's like, it's a love triangle that they imposed on the first season.
Let's talk about the real problem in all of this. 3 years between seasons 1 and 2.
And releasing the second season, which consists of, I forget if it was 8 or 10 episodes. 8?
I think it's 8.
Releasing the second season in 2 installations just to milk it for all it's worth.
Just
get to work. Like, it's, I mean, obviously the days of 22 episode seasons are
but the thing is, they're not long gone. Network television can do it.
Right, but like for anything that has cultural cachet on the level of Wednesday, it's just, you can't get the same output anymore.
The Taylor Sheridan shows do better output than this.
What is their
they're at least they're not waiting 4 years between seasons of all. They're doing Landman season 2. They're already on it right now.
But the seasons are short.
I mean, these are short. Yeah, they're not 22 episodes, right? Like, you didn't know how good you had it, and we don't even have to go back to like network TV, which is the blueprint for that, you know, with your 22 episodes over 9 months, and then they get their 3-month break off. You could go look at basic cable during the golden age of TV, whether we're talking about Breaking Bad, any of these shows that were really big at that time on FX or on AMC or any of these stations. They weren't doing 22 episodes a year, but they were doing 16. Right? People don't know how good they had it back then.
Which
they
is
really
still,
did.
Like, double what we get now. We're basically at the point where they're like, we'll give you like 6 episodes within the next 5 to 7 years.
And maybe we'll give you a second season, otherwise F off.
And it also just is insane because 2022 feels like another lifetime.
2 lifetimes ago.
Like, crazy.
I mean, we had a vibe shift. We had an election. Like, so much stuff happened between then.
Yeah. And in the meantime, Jenna Ortega's career also took off in a huge way, which is probably the main reason why they couldn't schedule filming for Wednesday. But she is the executive producer role as well. So it should have been prioritized.
And the thing is companies like networks are always companies like Netflix will always be able to put stuff out because they offer so much money to these actors to do it. Like I was on with Valiant Renegade last night. We were talking about Netflix possibly one day maybe moving over to the theatrical release market on a more permanent basis because they put in a bid for Weapons that they ended up losing out on, and Weapons just made a ton of money at the box office. And part of it was like they offered the director way more money, and he didn't do it because he wanted it to go to theaters. But that's how they get you. Like,
they bribe them.
They did the same thing with Anyone But You. They got offered way more money to do it on streaming. But it wouldn't have been as culturally relevant. Correct. But for the TV shows, they don't have that secondary option. So you can either be 80 years old watching CBS, 72 years old watching ABC, 70 years old watching NBC, and watch the network procedurals that, in my opinion, were the true victims of, you know, the progressive movement of 2018 to 2022, and it never recovered. Otherwise, you're going to have to go to basic cable if you want to find anything that's even approaching regularly released. The rest of it is all every 6 years something comes out.
I'm scrolling through the hashtags when Claire stays and make when Claire canon right now, and these people are all so unemployed. It's crazy.
Oh, by the way,
open the tweet that I just sent you. This is such a waste of someone's graphic design skills. They made a flyer for it. Raise your voice until they can't ignore us.
I love it.
And what's with the anarchist symbol at the bottom of the flyer there? Thank you.
Thank you. It was like this thing. The original run of The X-Files took 8 years, 8 months, and 9 days to air 9 seasons, including 202 episodes and a theatrical film. Stranger Things will end this year after 9 years, 5 months, and 10 days with only 5 seasons and 52 episodes.
How far we've fallen.
It's so sad.
This is just, like, pathetic.
Yeah.
They're like acting like this is some kind of injustice that they weren't given some ship. You can just look at fan art online and it gives you the same dopamine hit.
Yeah. It's also funny too because this is like it's from the industry where they love to tell the audience that they don't know what they want until they get it from the artists. You know, they don't want to do what the audience says. They want to believe that they decide what is important and what is cool.
These people like need to get a life. I know that the showrunners can't do this because they can't alienate the audience. They can't actually like give these people the shaming that they deserve. But you know, they got close. They were like, look, you can just think of it whatever way you want, but it's our show. F off. I don't know. These people are crazy. Like I thought, you know, stay on Tumblr. Just stay.
I mean, that was the real thing. Tumblr banned.
Sectioned off.
Tumblr banned
from the
porn
rest of
and the
us.
floodgates opened.
Well, then they unbanned it. So go back to Tumblr. Stop bothering people.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.